Me Tell You a Story is part of the Carolina Storyteller. Written by me, produced by me, edited by me, starring me, horribly marketed by me. I'm 2 years in and I don't have a team. If you want to support the podcast, please go to patreon.com/Carolina Storyteller and subscribe. We've got 3 tiers, and from those 3 tiers, you can get early episodes, exclusive content, and if you go for the big bucks, we'll even let you be part of the live audience. Stay spooky, my friends.
Welcome back to Let Me Tell You a Story, folks. I am Jonathan Phoenix, the Carolina Storyteller, and today I have a very special guest, recording artist out of Syracuse, New York, Amanda Marie. Amanda, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great tonight. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. So, Amanda, just to let everybody know, you have an album that just dropped back on August 17th, Reborn. Now, this is your first studio album, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And the album is really, you've got a lot of songs that seem to be they do a lot of, you get a little personal in there with some of the stuff. It's like you're touching on some things that seem to be coming from within the heart. Describe your style, because to me, I feel like you've got an R&B and hip-hop flow, but how do you think your style is?
So I do genuinely do a lot more of like the hip-hop R&B type of music. It just kind of comes more natural to me, I feel like. But in general, I try to do a little bit of everything. Like low-key, I have some country music that's not released. I have some rock music that's not released. Generally, though, I do feel like it's more like hip-hop R&B based, especially like my last album. It was mostly hip-hop and R&B. I had a couple pop songs on there. But I definitely always kind of put my heart into my music. You know, everything that I write about is true. I don't, write about just fake stuff just because it sounds cool. I like to put my heart and my soul into my music, because what I feel like other people can also feel. Like, music's gotten me through a lot. So if my music can get somebody through something as well, that's kind of what I'm aiming for.
So the first time I heard you was your song Rambling, which it just felt like you were kind of just ripping off of what was going through your mind on that. So, I mean, was that just, you were just kind of ripping off of what was going through in like the moment in time in your life when you were releasing Ramblin'? Is that what that was?
It was. So I was kind of angry when I wrote that song, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
There was just kind of a lot of things going on with people in my life and whatnot. So I kind of I found that beat and I kind of just went on a little like ramble. I went on a little rant.
Yeah, it was good. Now, was that a freestyle, or did you actually write all that? That's one of the things I wanted to ask. Do you do a lot of freestyle, or?
So, fun fact, I actually don't freestyle at all.
Okay.
Everything I do sit and kind of write about. Like, I can write pretty quickly. Like, I can write an entire song in half an hour to an hour. You know what I mean? But I
Mm-hmm.
can't just, like, spit bars straight up. I probably finished that song, I want to say, within half an hour, 45 minutes.
Okay. Well, I mean, it is one of it was a nice introduction to you, and then of course we got the Reborn album, and I've already mentioned My Gotham. Uh, where do you get your inspiration for? Who was your musical inspiration that led you to create music like this? I mean, My Gotham is a really touching song. I really liked it. It's my favorite song off of the album, um, and so I just wanted to know, who were your um, icons that you looked up to that have inspired you to do this?
So the past, I want to say 4 or 5 years, I've listened to a lot of Juice World and Russ. And those have been like my mains that kind of keep me going and keep me focused in what I'm doing now. Just growing up, I listened to so much different music, whether it was like Papa Roach and Shinedown versus Eminem, you know what I mean? Like that's what I listened to growing up that made me want to really start doing music, like they got me through a lot growing up. Um, and then as I got older, and I started to listen to more like Rush, Juice World, stuff like that, those kind of started to become more of my inspirations because their music is so touching and you can learn from their music. Russ especially, like I listen to his music and I feel like I can learn from it. Like I feel like I can learn what my next move should be and things like that. So those are like my 2 top inspirations right now. And for the last like 5 years, I want to say like that's really what has been pushing me.
Yeah, music has a way of inspiring us and leading us. Um, when I was coming up, it was for me, it was a mixture between Metallica, Meatloaf, and Prince and Tupac. Were my inspirations, and then of course Eminem came out, and I think that led me well into the 2000s and almost the 2010s. I don't think I put any of Eminem stuff down for forever. Now, what have you got coming up? What's your next thing now that you've got the album down? Are you going to be going on tour? I know you've posted some videos about it. Have you gotten any reactions to that? Any place you're going yet?
So I actually, starting in March, I'm gonna try to get kind of like a little tour going. I'm thinking Rhode Island, Massachusetts, um, Ohio, I have an opportunity. Connecticut, I have an opportunity. New Jersey. So there's a bunch of places that I have an opportunity. I just kind of gotta, fit everything where it's supposed to go, fit the puzzle pieces together, and get the money, all that for the traveling expenses and whatnot. So I definitely plan on traveling a lot more in 2024. I actually do have a single dropping on January 1st. I've been talking about it. I haven't really started promoting it yet. I was going to wait another week or two into December to start promoting it. But I am dropping a music video and a single on January 1st. The song is called Nice Talk. And that song, the inspiration behind that song was really just, there's a lot of people who, claim to support you. There's a lot of people who claim to be your friends. That there's a lot of people that claim that they're going to be there for you, et cetera, et cetera. And that's kind of the inspiration behind my song. So I'm really excited to drop that. I feel like it's a good introduction for like how I'm coming into 2024 as an artist. So I'm really excited for that. So that's kind of what's next. I plan on dropping a lot of singles in 2024. I might not drop a full album in 2024. I might make you guys wait for like a whole extra year for a whole nother album. But we'll see. I definitely got a lot coming in 2024
Keep
though.
keep everybody waiting and jumping at the bit for that next album, the follow up to Reborn.
Oh yeah.
You got to come up with a
Oh
good
yeah.
title for it too. So you got a
Definitely.
new single coming out in January. So all my Patreon members, you guys will be able to look for that single coming in January. Um, you've got tour going on. Are you nervous about all this? Is it just starting to sink in how big it's going to be, how big it's getting? I've seen the videos of you constantly signing and sending out copies of the album.
So it's definitely a little nerve-wracking, a little anxious. I do have anxiety myself. I just have a very good grip on it. I've dealt with it for a very long time, so I've kind of learned, what works for me to get me in a comfort zone. I feel like the scariest part for me in doing what I'm doing is everything that's new. Like right now, I'm used to a lot of the same people. Like I've performed a lot in my city. I have performed out of state already, but I haven't done a ton. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So now that I'm actually gonna be going to like different states that I've never been, meeting people that I've never met before, things like that. It's definitely very nerve wracking and scary, but it's also exciting at the same time. Especially if I can go to these other states and these people like my music too. Like it's not just New Yorkers who like my performances and like to see me perform. It's like other people. So it's definitely scary, but it's also like it's more exciting than anything really.
Yeah, one thing I want to compliment you on, because I've seen some of your performance videos, and for anybody that wants to see them, you can go to her Instagram, and she's got them all over her Instagram of her performing for various crowds. Is that you really do get out and focus on commanding the audience and kind of connecting with the audience. You have some performers. Um, they don't try to get to the whole audience. They're focused on one spot, and that's where their performance is. But you get out there and you kind of move around and you kind of control the stage and connect with the audience. I've seen, and it's a really hard thing to master as a performer. I did some stage work back in the day, and I got to tell you, you know, I understand why there are some performers that they just stand in one spot. It's really hard, especially when you're under those lights, to do that moving around. And you are energetic out there on the stage. You really are. And that allows me to change gears here. I see that you do a lot of work in the gym. How often are you in the gym?
So it's 4 days a week. Between an hour and 2 hours for my 4 days that I go.
Okay. How long have you been doing the gym stuff? I mean, has that been along with, or is that something new you've just added?
So I started officially in the gym August 8th. I believe was like my first day like actually going to the gym. I never stepped foot in a gym before that. I got lucky enough to where one of my friends was looking for a workout buddy, and he knew a lot. He knew what he was doing. I had a goal, he had a goal, and he kind of just trained me up, taught me everything that I needed to know. And now I'm just kind of going from there and just doing what feels right.
That's the only thing you can do. As someone who also did not set foot into a gym until a year ago, and now I'm 100 pounds down, I can tell you, having a friend that knows what they're doing,
Congratulations.
it makes all the difference. I had my friend. He got me in there. He threw me on a bicycle and said, "Just pedal, just keep pedaling. Do what you can today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, add 5 minutes to it." And I do about three
Yep.
days a week, but 4 days a week, it's inspiring to see people out there and working on their health and working on getting better. And it's a good thing. So I think you're going to get some results with that. I think you're going to enjoy it. And it's good to see. And you know, just wanted to add that in there. You're out there working on your fitness all the time, and you're putting it out there for people to see. And so you're being kind of a role model for the people. They're seeing, hey, I can go do this. Planet Fitness. It's always a good place to go. Planet Fitness. If you want to sponsor me, I'll take it. Come on. We love money over here.
Yeah, right.
So I know I mentioned this really slightly, but you're from up in Syracuse, New York. My foster mother actually went to college in Syracuse, New York. I've been up there. It's a very beautiful town. Um, and it's got some history to it. Syracuse. It's just,
Does.
and of course you've got the women's college there, Syracuse University, right there at Syracuse. Did you attend Syracuse University? Okay, I figured.
I did not.
Oh, you did
I
not.
did not.
Okay, but the school is there. You know about the school,
No,
yeah.
no, I didn't.
Okay, but you know about the school.
I've known people. I've been to parties, but
Okay.
I've never like actually attended. No.
Well, I'm from South Carolina, and I'm attending Purdue, so don't feel bad. You go where you can go. Um,
Oh, nice. Huh?
yeah.
Right.
So there is a theater there in Syracuse that's very famous. You may have heard of it. Have you ever heard of the Landmark Theater there in
I
Syracuse?
have. Yep,
Okay. So the Landmark Theater was built
definitely.
in 1928. When it was originally built, it was the Lowe's State Theater. Houses 3,000 people. This place was built to be, state of the art back in the 1920s. I mean, it had the promenade balcony. It had a Chinese pagoda. They had this big, huge Tiffany chandelier hanging up in the front, and stairs that kind of did like this grand staircase up to where the balcony was. And it was used for silent films. So they had a giant pipe organ down front with 1,400 pipes that would play the music for the silent films. So you'd have to have somebody live actually playing the music during the movie. If the timing was off, I'll bet you things
Cool.
looked a little weird. And then, of course, then they had the talkies, is what they called the original films that actually had an audio track to them. What we today would actually refer to as just a frickin' movie. They called it the talkies because, well, they talked funny back then. I don't know why. Um, excuse me. Sorry about that. So this place was built in 1938,
No worries.
1928. Within 2 years, it was haunted. It only took 2 years for the first ghost to show up in this place. Now, the first ghost to ever appear there that they know of is Clarissa. She started showing up around 1930. She is the ghost of a young woman. She was an actress, and I guess she was doing some kind of rehearsal and was up on the balcony when she fell to her death. They didn't realize it was Clarissa,
Oh,
of course,
wow.
was the ghost. But yeah, she fell off of the balcony at the Landmark down to the lower seats and ended up snapping her neck and died. And apparently, her spirit now haunts that upper balcony. Now, ghost hunters, you know the show Ghost Hunters, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. The show Ghost Hunters actually went to the Landmark, went up to that balcony, and they actually got an EVP where they believe it is Clarissa saying, "I fell off." So there's
Wow.
that mind blower for you. Is that they say that there was actually an EVP,
Yeah, that's crazy.
but she's not the only ghost that's there in your town. Um, in the back of the theater. Now, this theater is still used. They still perform Broadway plays. Back in the 40s, there was a man named Oscar. He was a lighting and sound technician, and he was working on one of the light boards in the backstage area when he got electrocuted. Apparently, his ghost still likes to play with the lights, and he will turn lights on and off at random in the backstage area and even in the main house when there aren't shows going on. Apparently, he knows the show must go on, so he has yet to interrupt any shows that are in progress, but he loves messing around during rehearsals and times that, people are just walking around the theater. It's a very interesting one. And the last ghost we've got in this theater is Charlie, the janitor. Now, Charlie did not die in the theater. In fact, Charlie was just a janitor there for many, many years. He took care of the property. And Charlie is known to hang out down in the basement. So we've got one in the balcony, one backstage, and then one down in the basement. Which, for those of you in the South that don't know, basement is a room underneath a place. If we put a room underneath our houses down here, it fills up with water because the water table is so low. But in other places in the country, they actually can dig underground and build a room, and that's what a basement really is. And that's where Charlie hung out. It's where they had the furnace and everything, and so he had to do most of his work. And people can still say they will hear him walking around at times and smell the scent of his cigars. And sometimes they've even stated to see Charlie moving around in the basement down there. So you've got a
Ooh.
over almost 100-year-old building there, haunted with at least three spirits. Have you ever visited the landmark?
I believe when I was very, very young, for like a school field trip, we went there. Other than that, I haven't really been there. I have heard that it's haunted. I haven't heard like the specific stories, but I've heard like people seeing and hearing things, which is kind of crazy. It honestly makes me a little nervous to actually go there. You know what I mean?
Well, now understand that as far as I can tell, these spirits, based off of their stories, they're not malevolent. So you don't have to worry about them bothering you. You might see Clarissa up in the balcony, when you do finally hit the landmark and they've got Amanda Marie up on the marquee and you're in there performing. You look up and you see what looks like a ghost. Now you know it's Clarissa. You can holler out to her and give her a shout out during the performance. And if somebody's messing with the lights, that's just Oscar. He's over by the lighting board. You don't have to fear those two. And of course, Charlie's just trying to take care of the place. I don't think you're going to go down to the basement. But if you do, he's not going to bother you. He just likes to take care of the place. So as long as you're not trying to wreck it, he's going to be happy. But they do still perform shows there, so that's a potential, as
Mhm.
you're getting bigger, and I've seen your audience sizes do grow. You could end up, seating that 3,000 seat theater performing, giving you a heads up on who's going to be in the audience.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's crazy though. Wow. That's very cool though. Oh my goodness, that's so cool. I never knew, like, I knew that it was haunted, but I didn't know the stories.
Well, that's what I do. I tell people the stories, and now you know, and now you're ready for when you go in there. Because I'm sure with your talent and with your talent and your drive, that you were one day going to fill up the Landmark Theater, and you could perform for Clarissa, Oscar, and Charlie, and they'll be very happy to have you there.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. Amanda, it's been great having you on the show. I really appreciate you joining us. Everybody, like I said, the links are going to be in her guest page and underneath the description of this. Please go and check out Reborn by Amanda Marie. It is out now. Like I said, she's going to have, like she said, she's got singles coming out. My Gotham, great song, music video is on YouTube. If you haven't heard it yet, go give it a listen, give it a like, give her some support. And Amanda, again, thank you for being with us. And that's going to be
Thank you so much for having me. I had a great talk.
No, it was our pleasure. And that's going to be our show for tonight, folks. I'm Jonathan Phoenix, the Carolina Storyteller, and stay spooky, my friends.